So where are we here? Chapter 1, Episode 7. For a while, Abram was happy to have and adore Sari. As it so often was with a new thing, after a time it was the same old thing and Abram wasn't satisfied. What was the use of having a young and beautiful wife if one had to live in poverty? He watched little Sari in the moonlight. She was mostly naked. She slept on her stomach with her head turned away from Abram, facing Hagar. He ran his fingers through her long raven hair and admired the form of her legs and her butt. She really was beautiful. Abram looked out the tent past Sari's beautiful feet and watched for movement among the sleeping sheep. He saw a bird come out of the moon and fly straight toward him. He was sure it was going to steal Sari. Abram covered her at the last second, and the bird flew over the tent and gave a screech. He knew it was God sending him a sign. He knew what to do. In the morning, Abram was so friendly and accommodating that Hagar and Sari were rather frightened. He talked for a while to the goats, telling them he was certain that they would soon have some new friends. His God had told him what he must do. He instructed Hagar to make Sari especially beautiful and desirable. With the right scents, a little makeup, and some fine clothing, Sari indeed looked like the queen of her own sovereignty. She had no idea what Abram was doing. He looked like he had a big plan for a day of romance. She was wrong. He sat her on Garth, gave Hagar instructions for things she always did anyway, and they were off. Abram and Sari on a little getaway. Sari soon saw that they were going to the castle. That couldn't be right. Now listen, Sari. Abram is an uncle of a cousin on our dead mother's side. My dead mother, not your dead mother. She's still alive, or at least she was when we left her. Sari had a few questions that she knew she couldn't ask, so she just nodded. She didn't bother her with a smile. Her brother was a prick, and whatever his plan, she didn't like it. She half listened as Abram explained how Abram came to be so wealthy and thus powerful. So remember, Sari, just this one thing. You are my sister. Yes, I am aware. You are a virgin, not my wife. Are you? Many things went through her mind. I am a virgin. What did that mean? Just don't say anything, she decided as they entered the castle walls. Abram explained whom he was and that he wished an audience with Lord Abram. As luck would have it, Lord Abram had seen Abram and Sari approaching. He already knew Abram was a small herdsman. How small he didn't know or really care. What caught his interest was the young beauty, the sister. He would quite like to have her, as it was with lords and young girls and sometimes even women or boys or sheep, but not really. No one really fucks sheep. I added the sheep nanny. Grandma was nodding her head. Artemis didn't think the rest of the story was appropriate for a grandmother. Artemis didn't like it either. She knew girls were still being owned and misused. She smiled at her grandmother. Shall we go for a little walk down the lane and back? See if we have any mail? There was never any mail, but it was a nice walk to go down the dirt and gravel driveway to check for mail and watch the road for a bit to see if anyone drove by. There was always birds and animals to spot on the way.